Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to All Things Division 3 Soccer with Simple Coach and Jackie. I am Simple Coach. Sleeping away. She's up for a little bit. Jackie, living the dog's life. Hey, thanks for tuning in to this game or games of the weekend for October the 6th. 7th and 8th. So that this weekend. Today, Friday the 6th, tomorrow, Saturday the 7th, and Sunday the 8th. So I'm going to run through some games, some information. Have to find my spectacles somewhere. This is even tinier. And yeah. Hey, and just... Did you check out the interview I did with Commissioner Bolvich of the pay-per-view conference, Landmark Conference? I mean, if you geek out over that sort of thing, that was fantastic. Probably one of the best ones that I've enjoyed doing. Just a fantastic, great conversation. So, okay, so as I usually do, let me start with the ladies. Let me get this up here. This is really small. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do this. It's too small to print. Okay, first of all, let me just remind you, we have goal scorers. We have top goal scorers. And just to refresh sort of where we are updated, with 12 goals apiece, Emily Holland at McMurray. And Matt House that is Vermont State University at Johnson, 12 goals. With 13 goals, Hallie Schaefer from Wilson, Hallie Mersberger from Northwestern St. Paul, Chloe LaRosa out in Westminster with also 13. And then Sarah Andre, North Central, with 13 goals. At 14, her teammate Ellie Suter at North Central. Kaylin Sheets at Penn College. And then lastly, Savannah Renix at Delaware Valley with 14. But leading the pack, becoming a new fan of Old Westbury, with 20 goals, Elise Then. And then also, I mean, if you've watched the midweek games, as I suggested, oh my gosh, we only have 3 undefeatables left in the women's game. We have Carnegie Mellon, Wash U, and Mary Hardin Baylor. I mean, can't make it up. We were once 8, 10, 15. Now we are down to 3. Who knows? Can Carnegie Mellon run it? That would be impressive. Maybe almost historical? I don't know. Could be. Might be something to look into. Anyhow, Friday games. Multiple games. This is definitely a multiplier of games to watch, just because it's now starting conference, getting some real head-to-head games. Really neat stuff. Hendricks, 10-2, travels to Center College, 6-1-4. I think that could be a humdinger. Western New England, 5-2-2, at Roger Williams at 5-5-3. Another interesting one. And then another one to think about is, and like this is part of my experiment of trying to broaden sort of the teams I watch. Fitchburg State at 2-7-2 faces Maine Maritime, or Massachusetts Maritime. MA is Massachusetts because Maine is ME. So Massachusetts Maritime at 1-6-1. But the games I'll be watching on Friday, there's 3. Grove City at Geneva. Grove City's 5-4-1 and Geneva's 4-5-1. this one because it just looks interesting to me. Mississippi Women's College, that is soon changing its name. I think that is what it's called. At 3-5 faces Westminster in Missouri at 2-5. So, yeah, that'll be a banger. And then lastly, look, this is one. Both teams are 1-5-2. They're both in Massachusetts. Worcester State versus Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts. A win goes a long way, so I would think that's gonna that game's gonna matter to both teams. Okay, so but on Saturday, here I am. It's Saturday already. So, I mean, there are so many games. I mean, this one's crazy. My screens will be busy. Williams at Connecticut College. Williams 7-0-2. Connecticut College 4-5. It looked very, very good. Who's been looking good? And obviously Williams. They're really rocking it. Trinity at Bowdoin 5-2-3. Trinity traveling to Bowdoin at 5-2-2. Oh shoot! Hang on. Part of my lighting setup are my computers. They have to be running. There you go. Middlebury at Colby, another NESCAC. I mean, we could stay in the NESCAC for almost every weekend and week out. Some of the games are so good. 4-2-3. Middlebury at 2-5-1 Colby. Here's one that I thought was really interesting. Stevens 2-5-2. Not the record that they would probably have banked on this year, going to Misericordia, who's at 6-3-1. Or St. Lawrence at Rochester Institute of Technology. St. Lawrence at 3-3-3, and Rochester RIT at 4-4-2. I mean, you could travel out to the Midwest. Augustana at Millikin. You could stay on the East Coast and go with Haverford at Washington College. 4-5-1 Haverford, 4-2-3 Washington College. In Wisconsin, Eau Claire, 5-2-3, going to Platteville, University of Wisconsin Platteville at 4-1-3. 5-3-1 Ferrum at Randolph College. I mean, two more evenly sides you couldn't find. Hey, St. Elizabeth going down to Notre Dame, the Notre Dame University for Women of Maryland. No. Notre Dame University of Maryland. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Lehman at Brooklyn College, 1-5-1 Lehman, traveling to 1-6-2 Brooklyn College. And then 4-5-1 Illinois College faces 4-2-3 Grinnell. So, having said that, on Saturday, as I'm watching, I mean, these are just going to be bangers, right? Like Rochester 8-0-2, spectacular season. Continue to ban me on Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it, at Carnegie Mellon. Number 1 in the Simple Coach top 25, 11-0, undefeatable. Emory at Case Western Reserve. Emory at 4-2-2. Case Western at 9-0-1. NYU picking up the slack. The men's team have given at 8-1. Travel to Chicago. That could be a tough match. 7-1-3. William Smith at 6-0-3 travels to 6-2-2 Vassar. That might be a game to watch. The Monmouths of Amherst 7-1-1 traveling to Wesleyan at 5-2-2. And then an NJAC brawl. You always got to have an NJAC brawl. If I'm starting to think around these gamer games of the week. Rowan at Montclair. Rowan 8-0-1. Montclair at 7-1-1. So, also on Saturday, 8-1-1 Johns Hopkins visits 5-3-1 Gettysburg. That's gotten trap game written all over it. If I'm Johns Hopkins, Lynchburg 6-3 travels to a really successful Washington and Lee 6-0-3. Did I repeat that? No, whatever. This one looks so tight to again matter. 6-2-2 Clarkson faces 6-2-2 Ithaca at Ithaca. So, and then another one, 5-2-3 McDaniel is at 7-3 Dickinson. I mean, these are really going to be tight games. I mean, I would hate to do a poll as to what the scores would be. These are so hard to predict for me. Skidmore 5-2-3 travels to RPI. Is having a really good year, 6-1-3. So we'll see how that one turns out. Again, two more Saturday games that I really tune into. Oberlin 5-4-1 travels to Ohio Wesleyan who's 5-4-2. So yeah, some really healthy games out there that are worth the attention, and then some. This is probably the biggest list I've had for the women in a long time. So let's travel to Sunday. I didn't really pick a game, like a games to watch, because I'm still torn. But MIT 7-1-1 faces Williams at 7-0-2. I mean, Amherst 7-1-1 faces Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain's college, Bowdoin College 5-2-2. At 4-2-3, Middlebury faces 4-3-2 Babson. And this one looks like an interesting one. Rhodes at 7-2-1 travels to Center College at 6-1-4. This is out in Minnesota. 5-5-1 St. Mary's travels to 4-2-3 Grinnell. And then again, 3-3 Pratt Institute of Fashion, I thought it was. I don't remember. It's something like that. Arts? I can't remember. Faces Old Westbury, the Old Westburyans, at 5-5. And then this is one, again, me trying to expand the reach. Like I could really hone in on just the top 25 teams. There's so much more out there, greater depth of flavor at D3 than you would know. So I purposely picked teams that are competing for something. And 0-7-1 SUNY Cobleskill faces 0-7 Northern Vermont Linden, soon to be Vermont State University Linden. So both looking for their first win. I mean, that could be pretty significant, right? That can make for quite the game. So I'll run through the games that I would watch at the end here, because that was a long list, and the men is an equally long list. All right, so now on to the men. Same thing, lots of games that really got my interest, so it just got really hard. So I'll just rattle these through, and maybe I'll see if I can't put a list somewhere, because there's so many games, or I'll just create something and put it towards the end. But on today, you have Wisconsin Whitewater at 8-0-4 at 90 Minutes of Hell, Wisconsin Eau Claire at 8-1-2. So that should be a pretty cool game. Southwestern in Tejas, Southwestern Pirates versus the St. Thomas Celts. Southwestern at 5-1-3, St. Thomas at 7-1-1. Hey, a team that we might not even have been here, but great to see Birmingham Southern at 5-4-1 traveling to Oglethorpe 7-1-1. Hendricks 4-4-1 travels to Center at 4-6-1. And then Mississippi School of Women, College of Women, College for Women. I forget. I should have looked it up while I was doing it. I don't know why. But 2-6-3 facing Westminster at Westminster. Those are the type of games where a game means a lot because it could be a win for either side. So and it's part of my effort, like I keep saying, to just try to broaden what I'm watching. And then finally, both at 3 and 6. So this game means a lot. Sarah Lawrence travels to St. Joseph's in New York. Over to Saturday. And if I'm picking that game, that's the last one. That's Sarah Lawrence, St. Joseph's. That's the game I'm going to tune into. Here we go. From on Saturday, there's just so many games. Williams at Connecticut College, 6-1 Williams at 7-2 Connecticut. Connecticut looking, to quote the great Ray Hudson, magisterial, beating Amherst. And Williams having a troubling week, so they could really turn things around quickly just by defeating Connecticut. Carthage at North Central. Carthage 7-2-1. North Central. I think I have them at 11th in the Simple Coach Top 25 at 10-1. So Cortland State at Geneseo State. Battle of the SUNYs, 9-1-1 Cortland and 5-4-2 Geneseo. Out west, Cal Lutheran at 4-1-4 faces University of the Redlands at 7-1-1. So that'll be a good one. Another SUNY battle, New Paltz at Brockport State. New Paltz 7-1-2. Brockport State at 6-2-3. Hey, one here, University of Paywall at 5-1-3 travels to Pittsburgh to face the Carnegie Mellon Tartans at 7-1-2. This is OWU Alumni Day when Kenyon travels to Denison at 7-3. Kenyon at 7-3, Denison at 7-2-1. Both coaches, Coach Travis Wall for Kenyon and Coach Brandon Bianco at Denison, both Ohio Wesleyan grads. So that should be a fun one. Emerson 6-3-2. Emerson travels to Tufts at 6-1-3. I probably think this is a mountain too high to climb for Emerson. Even on an off day, Tufts is pretty potent, but who knows? If Tufts doesn't show up to play and Emerson gets lucky, plays their hearts out, there could be a game. Wartburg at Luther, 6-0-4 Wartburg, 4-3-3 Luther. Battle of Iowa. Is Wartburg in Iowa? I don't think they are. Vassar 5-3-3 travels to Hobart and Smith 4-4-1. You have RIT at St. Lawrence. RIT 3-1-4. St. Lawrence struggling through the season. Like, let's be honest, they're inconsistent. So 3-3-2. This next one, Caltech at Claremont Mudd Scripps. Caltech at 5-2-2. Claremont at 4-2-2. Maybe this is not the game for Caltech, right? Like, it might be, again, just a little bit too high for them. But this is still Caltech Coach of the Year. That's all I'm saying. Another game, just looking at 1-5 City College of New York faces Medgar Evers, who's at 1-6-1. So this is the sort of game where it's the importance of the victory, no matter how it's done, is fun to watch. So, but the games I will watch on Saturday for sure. Look, let's start with the big one. Widener, the undefeatable 9-0 at Messiah 10-0-1. Lynchburg at 9-1, really making waves, faces Mary Washington at Mary Washington at 8-1. The Mules of Muhlenberg, also known as the school that rejected Matt Turner, 8-1-1. Muhlenberg travels to 8-1-2 Franklin and Marshall. That'll determine, to me, like the trajectory of either team. This is a determining game for them, either one. So is Muhlenberg that good? They beat Franklin and Marshall. Yes, they're that good. Is Franklin and Marshall really contending? Yes, they are if they beat Muhlenberg. So 7-1-2, Battle of Smart People. Emory versus Case Western. Case at 7-1-1. Be a good one. NJAC Street Brawl. I hear all the East Coast gangs are picking sides. So Montclair State 9-1-1, having just lost awfully, which confirms my concerns about Montclair, faces a tough Rowan side 4-1-4. Right, the Williams of this year. Hope 7-1-3 travels to Calvin 8-2-1. That could be really interesting. Hope knocking Chicago, so knocking out Chicago. Centennial Conference brawl every year. Gettysburg pulling out the howitzer cannons. Grape Shot at 4-3-3 travels to Johns Hopkins, who are pulling out the scalpels. I don't know. 6-2-3. OAC battle, Ohio Northern, who I'm really angry with because they defeated my Mount Union Purple Raiders at 5-4-1. Travel to Das Kapital 6-3 Capital University. Here's one that I'm just pulling up there because I'm like wondering. Augustana 0-7-2 versus Milliken, who's 4-4-1. Augustana has not won, nor have they scored this season, which begs the question. I think I used that phrase properly. Begs the question. What's happened to Augustana? Like 80s, 90s, I'll say just athletically, I wouldn't say they were like tremendous, but they were very solid. A lot of people looked to Augustana for like athletics. And then now, what happened? Soccer team used to be regionally ranked all the time. And now, I don't think they've had a winning season since 15, 14, 13, somewhere in there. I don't know. Another one here where victory is going to matter a lot for either team. 0-10-2 Keystone facing 2-8-2 Valley Forge. That is tomorrow. And then Sunday, there's just really two matches, and they're both really will be really fun to watch. The Amherst 7-2-1 travels to Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain's College, Bowdoin, 6-0-3. That'll be another determining game. Who's gooder, right? Who's going to take that upward trajectory? Amherst is still smarting from a loss. That loss to Connecticut College, 3-2 on Tuesday. Tuesday, I think it was. Or Monday. Can't remember. Tuesday. So, and then the other, traveling to Texas, Battle of the Best of Tejas. Undefeatable Texas Lutheran at 11-0 travels to St. Thomas at 7-1-1. So, hey, real quick, just want to remind you there are two undefeatables. I should have done this at the beginning, but two undefeatables in men's Division III, Texas Lutheran and Widener, right? Are we going to go down to one? Who knows? That'll be interesting. And then goal scorers, Tati Aleman at St. Thomas with 11 goals. Harrison Tibbetts at Northland with 12. Sean Fatiga, speaking of undefeatables, at Widener with 12 goals. And Nathan Donovan of 90 Minutes of Hell at Wisconsin Eau Claire with 12 goals. 13 13 goals for the season so far. Enrique Gonzalez from Aurora. Why does that not come off easily? Nathan Prex with 14 goals from Lebanon Valley, who just lost. Who I just said, hey, these guys are somebody to watch, and then they go ahead and lose. Sebastian Londano at St. Elizabeth, who just loves to score goals. 14 goals as well. Aiden Crowder from Carthage with 14 goals. Out of Purchase, New York, Purchase College, Ermin Makic, maybe somebody will tell me how to spell that properly. 15 goals and sort of just lead, although he was held scoreless the other day in their loss. Amir Lukovic at Montclair State with 17 goals. I will say, if he keeps the pace and stays number one, and Montclair does, let's just say gets to the usual, hey, Sweet 16 or something like that, he'll be player of the year. I think that's the way they're going to look at it because he's got all the goals. So, okay, so that covers it. Thank you very much for tuning in. Like I said, if you hadn't had a chance to check out that interview I did with Commissioner Boldvich, Katie Boldvich of the Landmark Conference. I mean, we talk about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of NCAA stuff that we may be aware, we may not be aware, and sort of some of the challenges. We also talk about some of the great things the Landmark is doing. We also talk about my controversially calling them, not controversial, like who cares, that I call them the pay-per-view conference now. So well worth the time. So let me see. I'm not sure what I have coming up. Probably the next one's going to be the top 25s, Monday, Tuesday, unless something else pops into my head. So if you have any thoughts about my rankings, feel free down below. Shoot me an email. I respond. I know, shocking. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful soccer-filled weekend.
I'm always going to put in the work. I'm just trying to be a champion.